試験監督者は音量及び室内の聞こえ具合を確認してください。2023年度第3回実用英語技能検定準1級リスニングテスト。ただいまから準1級リスニングテストを行います。これからお話しすることについて質問は受けませんので、よく注意して聞いてください。なお、リスニングテスト放送中に音飛びや騒音があった場合は、発生した問題のトラックの始めに戻し、やり直します。しかしながら、万が一、教室監督者が気づかない場合は、速やかに手を挙げてお知らせ願います。このテストでは、テストの方法と注意事項がすべて英語で放送されます。
The listening test for the grade Pre-1 examination is about to begin. Listen carefully to the directions. You will not be permitted to ask questions during the test. This test has 3 parts. All of the questions in these 3 parts are multiple choice questions. For each question, choose the best answer from among the 4 choices written in your test booklet. On your answer sheet, find the number of the question and mark your answer. You are permitted to take notes for every part of this listening test. Now, here are the directions for Part 1. In this part, you will hear 12 dialogues, number 1 through number 12. Each dialogue will be followed by 1 question. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The dialogue and the question will be given only once.
Now we will begin the grade Pre-1 listening test. Number 1.
You look really stressed. What's up?
I'm way behind on writing this article about American composers. I'm not sure I can make tomorrow's deadline.
Let me give you a hand.
Really? That'd be fantastic. Thanks.
Not a problem. I've been in your situation before.
Would you mind doing some fact-checking? I need to confirm my sources.
Not at all. Just let me read the draft first, and then I'll get on it.
Question. Why is the woman concerned?
Number 2.
Jared, I got a phone call from your homeroom teacher today. She's concerned about your grades this term.
I thought I did okay.
That was her point. Your grades are usually excellent, but they're only average this term. She said you won't be able to get into a good college if you don't make more of an effort.
To be honest, I don't think I want to go to college anymore.
What? That's the first time I've heard about it. We'll talk about this more when your father gets home.
Question. What does Jared tell his mother?
Number 3.
Why did we ever encourage Jacob to play ice hockey? It's going to make us bankrupt.
I know it's not as cheap as we expected, but he loves it. I just wish it was safer.
A few scrapes and bruises I can handle. But he keeps growing out of his skates, and it seems like we're constantly buying new helmets, gloves, and padding.
You know, when he's grown up and has left home, we'll miss worrying over these little things.
Question. What is the man concerned about?
Number 4.
I bought this watch here 2 months ago, but it has stopped working. I'd like my money back, please.
I'm very sorry, but that's not possible. We can replace the watch for you.
But it's still under warranty.
Even so, it's store policy, I'm afraid. It's also stated on the warranty.
That wasn't made clear to me when I bought the watch.
I'm sorry, sir, but there's nothing else I can do.
Well, I guess I don't have a choice, but I won't be shopping here again.
Question. Why is the man annoyed?
Number 5.
How was your trip? I heard you rented a cabin in the mountains.
It was fun, but the weather was really changeable.
Did you at least get to enjoy the outdoors?
We did. We wanted to rent bikes and go cycling one day, but it snowed pretty heavily, so we went sledding instead.
Did it stay cold?
No. A few days later, the temperature rose so much we wore t-shirts and shorts when we went fishing.
Question. Why was the woman unable to go cycling?
Number 6.
Have you met the new head of the department yet? I've heard he's been criticizing the way we do things on the team.
I had a meeting with him yesterday, actually. He had some good ideas for improving our efficiency.
Well, as long as he doesn't try to introduce new policies just to show he's in charge. That's usually what happens when new managers come in from outside.
True, but you have to admit there's room for improvement, and I'm sure he'll get the team's input before deciding anything.
I hope you're right.
Question. Why is the woman concerned?
Number 7.
I've been invited to a second job interview at Palmer Group.
Really? I thought you'd given up on them.
I had. The guy didn't seem to like my answers to his questions at the first interview, and he kept pointing out how my experience didn't fit their needs.
Are you planning on going to the second interview?
I'm not sure. I doubt I'd take a job there unless they suddenly became a lot more enthusiastic about me.
Well, it couldn't hurt. Maybe someone different will talk to you.
Question. What does the man say about the first interview?
Number 8.
What happened to the plants in the front yard? Half of them have been dug up.
I think it was the neighbor's dog. It's always getting loose. And Josh, from across the road, said he saw it in our yard this morning.
We should go next door and say something.
You're right. But we don't have any proof the dog did it.
What do you suggest then? I spent ages making that flower bed look nice.
We could get some security cameras in case it happens again.
Good idea. I'll look into it.
Question. What will the man and woman probably do?
Number 9.
How's the planning going for your trip to Italy?
Okay, but I'm having trouble finding hotels within my budget. The flights cost more than I expected, so I need to watch what I spend.
Actually, I know an online booking site that has some great deals on hotels.
That sounds like just what I need. Is it reliable?
Well, I used it when I went to Spain last year and didn't have any problems. I'll email you the link.
Thanks.
Question. What will the woman do for the man?
Number 10.
George, the boss is looking for you, and she doesn't look happy.
Really? I wonder what the problem is.
She said something about a report that was due yesterday.
The sales figures for the Mackenzie account? But I thought the deadline for that was tomorrow.
Let me check. No, according to the schedule, it was due yesterday.
Oh, I must have got the days mixed up. I'll go and see her now.
Good luck.
Question. What do we learn about the man?
Number 11.
Did you see that documentary last night about corruption in the government?
No, but I heard it was pretty shocking.
It was. It claimed senior members of the government had been lying to the public for years, and it gave pretty convincing evidence, too.
That's nothing new. Governments always keep things from the public.
Yes, but usually when it's necessary to protect people. This was just to help politicians get rich, and the documentary named more than 30 politicians who were involved.
It sounds like I should watch it.
Question. What is one thing the woman says about the documentary?
Number 12.
Have you submitted your university applications yet, Erin?
No. To be honest, I'm not sure I want to go now.
But I thought you had your mind set on studying law.
Yes, but only because that's what my parents want me to do. My cousin took a working holiday in Australia for a year, and he said it was a great experience. I'm considering doing the same.
How exciting! I'm sure that would help you make up your mind about your future.
Right. I think I'll talk to my parents about it tonight.
Good luck.
Question. What does the man think about the woman's idea?
Here are the directions for Part 2. In this part, you will hear 6 passages, A through F. Each passage will be followed by 2 questions, number 13 through number 24. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
A. Typhon. Typhon was one of the most terrifying creatures in ancient Greek mythology. He was believed to be a giant whose lower body was that of a snake, and he had enormous wings. Typhon could breathe fire and create powerful storms, and he threw large rocks during battles. According to legend, Typhon had numerous offspring, many of which were fearsome creatures. They included the 3-headed dog who guarded the entrance to the underworld. Greek myths often help to explain the natural world. In one story, Typhon rebelled against Zeus, the ruler of the gods, trying to take his place. After a long battle, Zeus managed to defeat him using lightning bolts and then threw Typhon into a deep hole in the ground. Zeus then placed Mount Etna on top of him. Mount Etna is a real volcano, so fire-breathing Typhon appears to have been an explanation for the origin of the volcano.
Questions. Number 13. What is one thing that the ancient Greeks believed about Typhon? Number 14. Why was Typhon punished?
B. Animals and tools. Until the 1900s, it was generally thought only humans could use tools. Since then, various animals have been found to possess this ability. Among non-humans, however, the ability to use multiple tools as a set had only been observed in some primates. But in 2021, researchers discovered that one species of cockatoo, a type of parrot, could make and use 3 separate tools to obtain seeds from the pits of fruit. In a more recent study, researchers presented cockatoos with a sealed box containing a nut. Many of the birds succeeded in using multiple tools provided by the researchers to obtain the nut. When the box was put in a location that required flying or climbing to reach, many of the birds carried the tools to the box. This makes cockatoos one of only 3 species, including humans, known to bring tool sets to a site for future use. However, some scientists believe other animals might show the same ability if studied in similar conditions.
Questions. Number 15. What did the 2021 research reveal? Number 16. Which animal behavior was demonstrated in the more recent study?
C. Edison's talking dolls. Thomas Edison developed a technique for recording sound in the late 1800s. One application of his invention was the phonograph, which eventually evolved into the record player. Less well known, however, are his talking dolls, which were among the first talking dolls ever made. They contained wax records, and when the handles in their backs were turned, they played familiar children's songs or poems. Unfortunately, due to technological limitations, the words were barely understandable, and many children found the dolls frightening. Edison soon gave up on manufacturing the dolls. Though talking dolls are extremely common today, Edison's were among his greatest failures. Technology expert Carlene Stevens says the dolls are an example of the downside of racing to implement new technologies. While being first sometimes allows one to gain control of a market, it is often necessary to delay a product's launch until the technology has advanced sufficiently to make it attractive to consumers.
Questions. Number 17. What was one problem with Thomas Edison's talking dolls? Number 18. What does Carlene Stevens suggest about the talking dolls? D. The Al-Barakah Wheat Project. The Middle Eastern country of Jordan has a long history of wheat cultivation, and bread has been an important part of the nation's diet for many centuries. In fact, a recent discovery suggests that bread was being made in Jordan thousands of years before anywhere else in the world. Archaeologists investigating a site in the country's Black Desert found the remains of bread they believe was baked around 14,000 years ago by the Natufian people who lived there. Despite Jordan's long history of bread making, a variety of factors, such as an influx of cheap flour from the West since the 1960s, have led to domestic wheat production all but disappearing. A community-led project known as the Al-Barakah Wheat Project is trying to reverse this trend by supporting small-scale farming operations. The project ensures that farmers get fair prices for their wheat and teaches them sustainable farming methods that do not require chemical fertilizers and pesticides.
Questions. Number 19. What is one thing the speaker says about Jordan? Number 20. What is the main aim of the Al-Barakeh wheat project?
E. Satellite phones. As cell phone technology continued to develop in the 1980s, there was debate over whether it would mostly operate over satellite networks or land-based networks. Satellite networks were attractive because they promised connectivity in remote parts of the world that land-based networks could not reach. However, the high cost of getting satellites into orbit and the time required to obtain government approval for launches delayed the development of satellite networks, so land-based networks took over. Today, satellites have become much cheaper to launch. This has led to renewed interest in satellite networks, and major companies are already marketing smartphones that can send text messages via satellites. Experts point out, however, that connectivity anywhere in the world is still a long way off. One problem is that satellite phones experience poor connection in areas with hills or tall buildings, since a clear path to the satellite is needed for them to work well.
Questions. Number 21. Why did satellite phone networks fail to become widely used in the 1980s? Number 22. What do some experts say about satellite phones today? F. Illegal fishing. Researchers have found a possible method for detecting illegal fishing by using seabirds called albatrosses. First, they equipped albatrosses with miniature GPS devices and radar detectors. Most fishing boats use devices known as Automatic Identification Systems, or AIS, which transmit their positions to satellites. However, illegal fishing boats often shut the AIS off to hide their locations but keep their radars on for navigation. This means the birds' radar detectors can find them, and the researchers can compare data from the albatrosses with AIS data. Through these means, the researchers located many boats that were not sending out AIS signals, a sign they were probably fishing illegally. Conservationists, however, worry that illegal fishers could attempt to shoot birds approaching their vessels. The researchers, though, argue that the huge number of other bird species around each boat and the fact that albatrosses tend to remain at a distance mean this would not be a problem.
Questions. Number 23. What is one thing boats that are fishing illegally often do? Number 24. What do some conservationists worry about?
Finally, here are the directions for Part 3. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, G through K. The passages represent real-life situations and may contain sound effects. Each passage will have one question, number 25 through number 29. Before each passage, you will have 10 seconds to read the situation and question written in your test booklet. After you hear the passage, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
G. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 25.
Good afternoon, parents. As you know, this will be a joint 4th and 5th grade trip to Mount Oakley. Buses will be parked outside the school entrance and will depart at 8 a.m. sharp. Students should go directly to their bus without entering the school. 4th graders will use Bus 1 and 5th graders should board Bus 2. The exception is Ms. Klein's class, which has volunteered to help load supplies into a van that will follow the buses. These students should meet in the gym at 7:30. Note that students who arrive after 8 will have to be driven privately to the destination by a parent or guardian.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
H. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 26.
We have 4 different lectures for you to choose from this morning. Manal Abad will be discussing the latest theories about motivating young learners, especially those with learning disabilities. Yukari Hatayama will present her research into evaluation and assessment methods, including examinations. We also have Martin Halpern's talk about improving classroom discipline. And another option is strategies for engaging students during remote learning. That will be given by Antonio Rossi. Please consult your programs for the room numbers.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
I. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 27.
We're sorry for the delay. We'll be moving again soon, but due to a fallen tree on the track, this train will only go as far as Pickford. For passengers going beyond Pickford, please get off at Dewsbury, which is the next stop. A complimentary bus service from there will stop at all stations until Wexford, which is the end of the line. Passengers traveling to Filburn and Pickford can stay on the train. However, we're expecting progress to be slow, so we recommend using the bus service if you're in a hurry. We estimate the train will arrive in Pickford at 11:15.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
J. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 28.
We've been busy, so we don't have many openings in the near future. We've just had a cancellation for tomorrow morning at 10:30, so I could fit you in then with your usual dentist, Dr. James. I've also got an opening with Dr. Manganiello on Thursday at 7:45 a.m. Oh, it looks like Dr. Shah has had a cancellation today, so we could fit you in with her at noon. Let's see. If none of those work for you, I could probably get you in to see Dr. Manilo this Friday at 3. You'd be his last appointment for the day.
Now, mark your answer on your answer sheet.
K. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 29.
You should spend the night in Clairville, the halfway point. There are some hotels on the main road. The Waverton Inn is good. It has a nice restaurant. There's live music at night, though, which could make putting the kids to bed difficult, as you can hear it from the rooms. I also like the Ridge Motel. It's next door to the Waverton, but you can't hear the noise from the restaurant. It's too bad the Mountain View Motel closed down recently. They had a kids' playroom and comfortable beds. I'd also recommend Palm Village Suites, but they only accept adult guests.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
Your time is up. Stop writing and wait quietly until the answer sheets have been collected.
では、時間です。筆記用具を置いて答えの記入をやめてください。これにて試験終了となります。公正なる試験実施にご協力いただきありがとうございました。質問がある方は直ちに試験監督者にお申し出ください。試験監督者に連絡いたします。これより最終の受験者数を確認してください。その後、回答用紙を回収し、枚数の確認を行ってください。なお、問題冊子は回収しません。受験者数と回答用紙の枚数の一致を確認してから解散の指示を出してください。受験者の皆さんは身の回りをよく点検し、忘れ物がないように注意してください。受験者の皆さんが退出するときは別の教室が試験中の場合もありますので、声を出さず会場出口まで静かに退出してください。それでは解散の指示を出すまで静かにお待ちください。